Okay, uh, LMS Tactical here. Sitting in my basement, sick as a dog. Just ate way too much and I'm on the verge of throwing up, can't breathe, and I'm feeling like shit. But other than that, life is good. This is my brand new laptop. Just got it yesterday. My wife bought it for me. So this is the first time I've actually had a laptop with one of these little camera doohickeys on the computer itself. So that's kind of cool. And I thought I would make my first video just right off the cuff. I don't have anything really planned. I just want to talk about uh, mindset when it comes to deadly force. Many of you, if not most of you, are the possessors of concealed carry permits. And I would hope that if you're not, that's something that you're looking into or you plan on looking into. It's a Second Amendment. It's a right guaranteed you by the Second Amendment, and it's one that's very important. There's enough on YouTube about that. I won't get into it. I guess what I want to ask you is if you're carrying a weapon, uh, have you given? That's my phone ringing. Have you given any consideration at all to actually using it? And I don't mean necessarily from a tactical standpoint in the traditional sense. I'm talking about your mindset. Uh, have you gone through the actual mechanics of applying deadly force to another human being? Now, on the surface, that may sound like a pretty shallow question, uh, especially to a gun owner. But it's been my experience, and I think there's plenty of evidence to back up the fact that not everybody that carries a weapon and or fires a weapon has the proper mindset. It's really weird, man. The video just kind of shifted over by itself. That's really weird. Let me see what's going on here. But the heck is this? Some kind of weird advertisement. Leave me alone. It'll pop up. But you know, when I train law enforcement officers specifically, and also civilians, but primarily law enforcement officers, I don't like to, but I do make use of the various dash cam videos that are available now that sadly show officers getting hurt and sometimes getting killed in terrible ways. Um, and in the old days, uh, back in the 80s, early 90s, it was absolutely you just it was almost forbidden. You just never badmouthed another police officer shooting, especially if they lost their life. Uh, the good news is that people woke up, tacticians and instructors and law enforcement folks themselves realized that when a police officer dies in a violent situation, many times the last gift that he gives us is the ability to look and study and analyze his actions, things he did, things he didn't do, or she. Use the word he in a generic sense. I'm talking to all of you. And more often than not, you can always find fault and things that could have done better. And that's just about anything that any of us do. But, never ever refrain from studying closely the deaths of police officers and military folks from a tactical standpoint because there is something to learn that can prevent that type of thing from happening again. So, getting back on track, mindset or lack of the proper mindset sadly appears to be the cause for numerous officer deaths and injuries as well. So, this is very applicable to the civilian who has a concealed weapons permit and carries a weapon on a regular basis. It's let's stick with the law enforcement thing for a second here, but understand this applies to all of us. Uh, you know, Countless officers have strapped on a loaded gun every single day of their career and maybe gone 10, 15 years, maybe 20 years without ever having to use deadly force with that weapon. And when the time comes to use it, there may be hesitation, there may be reluctance to actually pull the trigger, or press the trigger if you want to get technical. But in any event, that creates the deadly lag time. Lag time when it's working against the officer or the civilian who's trying to defend his life is is really a death trap that you want to avoid at all costs. So you have to work through these problems ahead of time. And one of the ways you do that is you have to you have to almost meditate on it. You have to be very, very honest with yourself before you decide to either carry a weapon concealed or a weapon in any event. And if you're considering a career in law enforcement, you have to go through visually in your mind the actual act over and over again of dropping the hammer on somebody and literally standing over them and watching them shit and piss all over themselves and gag and choke on their own teeth or whatever the heck. I've seen it all, and you can imagine what that looks like if you haven't seen it. Uh, and if you're not ready to deal with that emotionally, spiritually, religiously, whatever, then you need to just hold off on these decisions that are going to put you or could put you in those situations. Because remember, if you break down in the middle of a deadly force situation and you're a police officer and you have a mental meltdown because it's the first time you actually caused an injury to somebody and the scenario is not over, the threat is not over, multiple suspects, whatever the case, you actually become a liability. I mean, if you're standing there in shock looking at some guy gagging on his own blood, you don't want to end up being combat ineffective because you hadn't taken the necessary steps to prevent such a thing. So it's incumbent upon all of us to go through these scenarios. Go on YouTube, watch the dash cams of police shootings. Go on, there's many, many websites. Just Google that, dash cam videos of police shootings. And see what people are doing right, see what they're doing wrong. The worst one that I've ever seen in my life was it's a video, and it wasn't on YouTube. It was too deadly. But it was an officer who was by himself, stops a guy basically who was a Vietnam veteran, hadn't taken his meds or whatever the case was. This guy loaded an AK-47, and after telling the cop, "I'm going to kill you, shoot me, motherfucker," that kind of thing, he proceeds to load an AK-47 the whole time. I mean, I think the cop yells, "Drop the gun, sir, drop the gun," probably 17 times, right around there. And waits till the guy gets it loaded and starts to aim it at him. By then the cop is panicking. He shoots. He misses. He shoots a bunch of rounds. The cop ends up getting executed, and it's a terrible, terrible video to hear this happen. It's just they wear wire body mics, and it was a senseless death. And I don't know the officer. I mean, no disrespect whatsoever to that person, but I have to believe, just based on my own experience, that individual had never fully contemplated the actual mechanics of taking another person's life. Had he done so, I think he'd still be here today. And in my opinion, that makes that a senseless death. And I'm sorry it happened. But, this goes for all of us. You wake up in the middle of the night and arm yourself, and you come downstairs and you're greeted with a couple of thugs with guns. Man, you have to have gone through it in your head. You got to understand that you're going to have piss, shit, blood, and teeth on your front room floor. And if that bothers you, then maybe you need to not have a weapon in your house. Because a weapon in the hands of somebody that's not ready to use it, and in every way that you can be ready, makes that person a liability. If that makes any sense. So those are my thoughts today. Sorry I'm a little under the weather, but I'm all excited about the new computer, and I just want to try the camera. It's weird how it's offsetting me. I mean, I guess I could center it that way, but then the computer's at an angle. Strange. I'll figure it out. But listen, you guys stay alert, stay alive, stay safe, stay tuned, and give me some comments, man. I make these videos, I don't get many comments, and it kind of hurts my feelings. I'm a pretty sensitive guy, so give me a comment. Tell me the video sucked. Tell me it's cool. Tell me what you want to hear about in terms of tactics, firearms, or whatever. I don't claim to be a expert in anything, but I do know a lot about a lot of things and a little about some things. And I'll never bullshit you, man. I'll just tell you what I know, what I think, and if I don't know it, maybe I'll help direct you to somebody that does. Stay safe. All right, now how do I stop this thing? Oh, little button says stop. I bet that's it.